We're just waiting for it to pop on in.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am so good. Oh my gosh, can you hear me okay? How's the sound?
Yeah, everything sounds great.
Perfect.
Now, wait, now, Nicole, before we jump into everything, I just want to tell you is that, none of us are really sleeping, so we're taking like naps. So I took one of my midnight naps and woke up around 3 a.m. And I saw your video called Squirrel Gate. And I was like, what the hell is this lady talking about?
I'm a whole mess. Listen.
So before we get into who you are, let me tell you why I was like, I love this lady. And I didn't know who, before I even knew, I just saw the Squirrel Gate video. And I was just like, who is this lady? So as I started going through your page, I started saying, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this lady is the real deal. Like, she's like an exec type lady.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, but let me tell you something, which I know may not mean nothing. You probably don't think about this, but what I really love about you is that going through your page, seeing your professionalism, seeing the things you've done, that you also are unapologetically Black. And
no, I'm quite Black. I'm actually, my parents are actually African. So I can go back to the piece of dirt hut that we own in Africa. That is how Black I am.
Yeah, and so I was like, great, because normally you see people get to the level that you've gotten to, and they kind of forget about that moment of them. And it's like, oh, this lady is like, oh, she's like a Black woman doing it.
So here's the thing. A lot of people think just because I might have gone to private school or because I run my business a certain way or I worked in corporate or whatever else that I forgot where I came from. No, this is just what it is. Like, I raise my kids a certain way. I have a culture that I belong to. My parents are actually African living in Africa. Like, this is real life. It's just what it is. Please, I love it. If I go out and tan, just literally 20 minutes ago, I was out there like, let me get this melanin all the way together. Like, let me do my part.
So as I was going through your page, I saw Orlando on your page. I was like, oh, I know Orlando. That's my baby. Okay. Yes. I was like, Orlando.
Yes.
I said, I have to talk to this lady. I was like, and so he made it happen. But then let me tell you guys something. Once again, she was still professional. She said, hey, sweetie. Okay, I hate that you're doing all this for free on IG.
Don't tell him!
No, it's not because, well, let me tell you why, because you kept it 100. You was like, listen, I hate that we're doing this for free on IG because I don't roll like this. But
I'm a whole mess. Here's the problem that I have is that I literally I struggle with free. Like when people do stuff for free, that when I know they're talented and gifted and they're blessing people, I actually am challenged. I'm like, why are you doing? I'm allergic. Free makes me itch. It makes my skin dry. Like, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, collect all of your coins. Like, what?
Yeah, so that's almost like, that's why I need to talk to you. So with all that being said, we're all on lockdown in Atlanta. Well, I see what you got going on because you let people check into your life. But how is your lockdown going?
So our lockdown's going great. I mean, one of the things that I'm super grateful for is we moved to Atlanta and I love it here. Right. So I just absolutely love it. It's a great city to live in. I have learned in Atlanta, everybody knows everybody. Like, I had no idea. The two big shocks I had was, one, if you are in between the ages of like 21 and like 45, you all know the same people.
Yes.
Like, I had no idea. Like, people will find, just like how you were like, oh, I'll reach out to him and then he has her number. I was like, okay, so you're always being watched. That's step one, right? Step one in Atlanta, you're always being watched. And then step two, maybe step 2.5, because everybody knows everyone, these brunches out here, Derek, there needs to be a notification. I had no idea. No one told me. When you come into Atlanta, brunches are an event. They have themes.
Yes.
Like, there's whole themes that go with it. I'm like, what colors are we wearing? I was thinking about pancakes. I didn't even know. Like, it's the weekend. I thought that we were off. I thought that the heels could stay home. Like, that's not the case, apparently.
No.
So there's that part. And then, the last thing I realized in Atlanta is that, which I think a lot of us have a hard time talking about, but part of why I was called to come here was because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
And a lot of things look a certain way, but they aren't reality. They aren't the truth. And what I'm grateful about is that during this time, a lot of people are being forced to kind of look inward and look at themselves and look at their bank accounts, and say to themselves, you know, what's my truth? And we're enjoying ourselves here because we planned ahead. You know, we live a debt-free life. We have saved. We help people in a genuine way build their businesses successfully. And that's it. So we've just been home kind of diving deep and spending time with our family and doing the work that matters. And it's exciting to talk to you because there's so many creatives right now that are reaching out and saying, look, like, I'm trying to figure out how to keep my coins together because, you know, my artistry is in my hands, you know, and I want to know, how do I continue to explore? Because I'm so much more than just being behind the chair, you know? So it's been an interesting experience being here in Atlanta and getting so much outreach from people saying, Nicole, I see that you're still paying your bills successfully. I see that your car has not been repossessed. So what's going on? You know, like, help me with that, you know? So it's been interesting, but we're really blessed. We're really blessed, and everyone's healthy. So amen to that. Good.
Yeah. So with the smoke and mirrors thing, yes, because
let's get into it. Hold on. Let's get into it.
Oh yes. Hold on. I was so busy trying to get you on the team. Yeah. So wait, while you pouring your drink, I make my drink. Pour your drink, girl. But who is Nicole Walters? I'm about to make my drink.
All right, I will let them know.
There you go.
If you guys didn't know, Derek said that this is going to be, it's 5 o'clock. So we are going to have a real chat and that I should bring a beverage. Now, I tend not to partake too much in the alcoholic sense, but it's that season. Listen, Corona got us all acting different. So this is a dry Riesling from Napa Valley, 2016. And my name is Nicole Walters of NicoleWalters.com. And I am an entrepreneur. You can find out more about me at NicoleWalters.com. And what I do is I help everyday business owners apply corporate strategies in their business so that they can have success, profitability, and do it all sustainably. Keyword, sustainably. There's lots of people that you may follow on the internet or people who have fancy pants careers and things like that are able to get successful once, but they can't let it stick. And that's what I get to help people do. I make sure that they're sticky and that their bank accounts are full. Now that we're ready.
Yeah, cheers.
Clink, 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 clink.
So what I would say this from a Black people standpoint, because my mother is this person.
Yes.
And you know, we've all been conditioned to keep up an air of things.
I mean, it's one thing to stay clean. It's one thing though to stay clean, and it's another thing to actually be clean.
Right, there you go. So my mom was she was upset with me. She called me. I was on live last week with Oscar James, and he's in the industry too as a hairstylist. And he was talking about how he filed for unemployment. I was like, well, I wanted to file for unemployment, but I was nervous about it because I didn't want people to think that. And he was like, well, niggas, you working? I said,
right, listen.
He said, well, you're unemployed.
Let's stop pretending. You pay into unemployment. Like, so what is that hesitation to leverage and use the resources that you've been paying into for so long? And there's a big difference between leveraging unemployment when you have the ability to work and the desire to work, and leveraging unemployment when you don't have those things. I am completely a fan of people leveraging their tools and leveraging government resources where it makes sense as a leg up and not your path forward. That's not your sole means of income. So yeah, no, absolutely. Unemployment, your benefits, do whatever you need to do to survive during this time and know that you're going to come out stronger for it. Don't make yourself suffer unnecessarily.
Well, see, when my mom called me, she's like, how dare you tell somebody you're filing for unemployment? People think that you have money, and why would you do that? I'm like, lady.
You have money. Aren't you trying to keep it? I'm sorry. What? Are you trying to spend your whole savings while you sit at home?
Right.
I make money. And I'm trying to keep it. That's why you don't see me walking around here flexing. People be like, I want to go out. I'm like, I don't have an outfit. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not fitting to buy one. So crazy.
It's crazy. That's why I said I'm breaking my mindset from that. That's why I said I'm gonna file for unemployment.
Yes.
I'm gonna file for food stamps too. Run me my money.
And file for the payroll. So let's talk about the government stimulus plan. So for anyone who's listening right now, you may be eligible to file for the payroll protection program. So it's $350 billion. They're looking to add another, I believe, $2.3 billion to the account. And basically the way that it works is, even if you are a sole proprietor, meaning just a single person unit, right? And you have been filing your taxes as like a contractor, which is likely what you are, a 1099 because you work for yourself and all that. If you're filing as a file, because what happens is any money that is lost over these next 8 weeks, you are actually able to get in a loan up front But here's the kicker. Everyone lean in on this one. That loan is forgiven at the end of 8 weeks, as long as you can show that you use the funds in order to keep your business afloat, to pay your payroll and things of that sort. So it's free money. And a lot of people don't understand it. They think that, oh my gosh, I'm not eligible. It takes no time. You file through your local bank, and it is something that is literally there to help get you through this time. And aside from that, aside from the payroll protection program, there's also the EIDL, which is the emergency disaster loan. And the emergency disaster loan is it's FEMA supported. It's been around forever. It's nothing new, but up to the first $10,000 advance that's given to you is forgiven. So, I mean, right now, if anyone is feeling any type of financial challenge during this time, there are resources available to you that you are supposed to take. You are not supposed to suffer in this season, you know, so you should be applying for these things and leveraging them to put some ease in your heart, because you need to be strong to fight another day. And when this passes, I want you out there, because people's edges are going to suffer. Suffer. You need to do God's work, okay? We need you, okay?
Yes, we do. So now I was going through NicoleWalters.com. Yes. So let's talk about 1K one day.
Yes.
So the thing is that I know a lot of us, we run businesses, and I'm gonna put quotes around it because for the use of the word business, right?
Right. So business.
Right, business. So, but a lot of us, and I'm one of those people where with my salon, I just was given a salon. It was like my person left, and she was like, "Do you want to take this over?" I was like, okay. But I didn't know what was I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on, and it's not making money. So it's just like it just pays for itself.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's not unusual. I think there's so many creatives or innovators, anybody who's out there wanting to build a business. And what happens is so many of them are focused on their craft. Listen, you are not expected to be an industry-leading business owner. That's the flex that I don't quite understand in Atlanta a lot and around the world, is that everyone wants to look like I'm some brilliant business person. You may not know business, but if you know your craft, listen, know your craft. If you know how to lay a lace front, that is what I'm hiring you for. I'm not hiring you to know how to run a business. But what that doesn't mean is you aren't excused, though, from learning how to do it correctly. You're not excused from tapping resources to learn how to do it correctly. So that's what I do. My gift is not, I can't lay a wig. I can't put together an outfit. I literally put this shirt on that I think I got at Target. And I was like, let me put a scarf on for a little slight casual flex so that I can look like my life is together. Like, I literally was like, let me pull this together to see what I'm doing, you know? But the reality is, this is not my ministry. I don't know what this is. I hire people for this. My ministry is showing people the steps to make sure the business is legit. You don't, when people first come out, they don't know the difference between an LLC, an S Corp, a 1099, a W-2. You just know how to braid.
I'm 10 years into my salon and still don't understand all this stuff.
And the thing is, you're not supposed, where are you going to learn? And I think what's tough in the Black community is we have this pride about us where we just really feel like, you know, part of being successful is faking it till you make it, you know? And the reality is there's nothing cute about faking it when the resources are there for you to actually know. And we have to be willing to share that information, and we have to be willing to support and lift each other, because there is abundance out there. And when I look at people like you who are so gifted, I mean, truly gifted. You are not some YouTube university, I know how to lay an edge with some hair. So you are truly gifted and an innovator. The work that you do has not been seen before, you know? And when I see that, it breaks my heart to think that you don't have access, or you haven't had even time to access the tools that you need to make sure that when stuff like this happens, you're not saying to yourself, where's the revenue coming from? Because you understand things like working capital. Like, working capital is just how much money do I have in the bank to keep the business going every single day, you know? And these are things that if no one tells you, you don't know. So that's what I do, is I make sure to take whatever they're talking about in the boardroom and I give it to the people who are hanging out in the break room, you know, because they deserve that information as well.
Now, I saw a video where your Who is Nicole Walters video, and you said that you quit your job online.
I did. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but I was raised right. Right. So I did quit my job. I worked in corporate America. And what I did when I was in corporate was I helped multi-billion-dollar corporations establish new business lines, make sure that they were profitable, develop new products. Basically what I do now, I just did for large corporations. But when it came time for me to go, it was time for me to go. And I wanted to make sure that I burnt that bridge so I wouldn't come back across it. And I sure enough went online, and in front of 10,000 people, I quit my job. I'll send you the video.
Yeah, please.
It was a whole thing. It was classy. My parents were proud, but it was an emotional moment. But I haven't looked back since. And within a year, I built $1 million business. And now I run a multi-million-dollar business with 20 employees. And I have an office right here in Buckhead. And it's exciting for me. And they're all still hired and working, and they have benefits. And we're going to weather this storm, and we will make it. You know, our company is not hurting right now because of the steps that we show people how to do every single day.
That, you know, this is the reason why I want to do these IG live things.
Yeah.
People don't know.
They don't know.
They just don't know. And they're thinking that everybody's out here just struggling. It's like, no, there are people out here that are surviving and they're maintaining.
Oh, yeah.
And
there are people out here who are thriving. I mean, I think one of the things that a lot of people forget is that this is a huge opportunity for a lot of us to grow. So if you use this season and you use it well, and I don't mean what you're hearing from a lot of people where they say things like, you need to build a business, build a this, launch your this, sign up for this, you know, vitamin company, sign up for this waist trainer company. You need to do all these things. No. This is the season to double down on what you already know how to do well. So if there was a hairstyle that you know that was in your heart creatively, that you're like, this is going to be the next summer hotness, double down on that. You know, if there was something you're already working on, like your website or your email address or whatever else, double down on that. You know, this is the season to improve your craft, because only the strong will survive. And what I always try to encourage people with is to let them know that seasons like this are like cleanses, right? They make space. The jokers are going to be gone.
Yes.
And those who truly have talent are going to rise, and they're going to thrive, and they're going to be successful. And I want, you know, everyone who has an opportunity to hear this, because you so graciously create space for this, to have an opportunity to know that they can really win in this season. We just have to get through and accessing the right information, spending your time with the right things. You know, you can truly win. Space is being created for you.
I've been saying this since I heard it, but when I was talking to one of my friends one day, he said that at this time, he said everybody's thinking it's a bad thing. He said, but when this is over, everybody's gonna be in the same space.
Listen, it's the great equalizer.
Yes, there you go. That's what it is, the great equalizer. He's like, we're at one. Everybody's on the same playing field now. Now, how you prepare yourself when this is over with is how fast you come out the gate.
100%. That's such great advice, and it's totally true, because a lot of people are out here flexing and spending their money. Like, I get blown away when I watch and I see that some people invested their money in, you know, a closet full of lubes and purses, you know, but they aren't ready to pay their mortgage. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. But guess what? The equalizer is coming. It's going to be a world where the flex on Instagram isn't going to be a Lamborghini and travel, because guess what? Travel isn't a thing anymore. Young, old, rich, poor, we're all inside. And when you're inside, you have to cope and deal with yourself. And you also need to realize, what do I actually have to show for it? So what I know is going to happen when we come out of all this, bankruptcies are going to go up. Divorces are going to go up. People's businesses are going to reflect whether or not they actually can sustain. And the opportunity we all have right now is to, again, lean into our craft. Be good at what you do. If you're saying you are the best person at making wigs, refine your craft. What is it about your stitch that you always didn't take so seriously that you were like, let me just get this out the door, tighten it up? You know what I mean? What is it about the thing that you always do before you lay it down that makes the edges look like they melt in? Tighten that up. You know what I mean? Do the things that matter, because when we come out of this and everybody has fallen by the wayside because they just can't keep up, people are I will pay money personally for the people who can actually do the real work. My coin matters to me very much. And where I used to tolerate just a little bit of slack, I'm going to want to spend my dollar where I know it's going to be returned. So, I mean, it's a real thing, and I'm excited about it. I mean, it's scary and sad, right? People are struggling right now, and there are challenges, but when this passes, I'm excited about that new season. I can't right now afford an office building. Like, I have no problem saying that. There's no shame in it. Just like you were saying, I'm applying for my unemployment. I'm applying for my stuff. I can't afford an office building. I'm a multimillionaire, and it is irresponsible for me to go cut a check right now to buy an office building. However, at the end of this, when the person who owns the office building I'm in can no longer pay his mortgage, guess who's going to be right in line with my funds at that reduced rate to go ahead and sign that building and take that property? You know, that's the perspective. Things are getting equalized.
You better come on here and preach today, girl. I was not ready for a preach, but honey, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't know.
Look, I got questions for you. So listen, let's just be honest here, guys.
Let's
answer all the questions that everyone needs, because it's very easy for us to talk about business and feeling motivated and fired up and all that. But I want to know, I've got this center lace. Listen, what am I doing right now? How do I
well, you know what? Honestly,
how do I blend this?
No, you're good. Actually, you look good. Like from here, you look good.
Yeah, well, everyone looks good from a distance. Let's talk about the truth, okay?
Well,
let's talk about the truth. From a distance, my part is seamless. Up close, I have a situation.
Well, no, because you're flipping it up. If you don't flip it up, you're fine.
Because I can see the line.
Well, yeah, but that. See, the thing about it is that you're not gonna be able to melt it down yourself. Like, that's not nothing you're going to be able to do.
So you see what I'm saying? I will pay for the good service because I'm troubled.
There's
a trouble afoot right now. What is going on in our world, okay, where I'm over here like, oh, Lord, I'm not going to be
you look really good. No, you look good. I'm telling you. If I would, I speak the truth also. So if it was jacked up, I would say, well, you know what, girl? You know, but you look good. No, it blends right on there. Look like it's your scalp, child.
I do the best that I can. This is not my scalp. Like I started this whole conversation with, I am full African. I'm full African. Nothing this straight grows out of my scalp on any level whatsoever. Okay, everything that comes out of my scalp has some serious kink to it, like the truest of kinks. It shows. Like literally, the hair that grows out of my scalp makes you wonder if I mind the gold that I wear myself. Do you grow that in your backyard? Do you have a pet zebra, girl? Like bark like a dog, bark like a big dog. Woof, woof. Like that's literally what my hair looks like. So if this looks like this from the distance, I receive it.
Yeah, no, you look good. You look amazing. You really do. Yeah, you pulled it together. So we have no complaints.
I pulled out my good wig, but listen, it's that season right now where if it wasn't for wigs, I don't know how I'd be showing up. I'd be like, can we do this over audio? You trying to start a podcast?
Right.
Do a podcast?
Now you become a successful Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
So how during your rise of becoming that, were you ever the Black bitch?
Like, oh yes. Oh my gosh, I still am, right? Like, isn't that how that always works? People aren't going to like you. Listen, one of the things that I love to say is that people will see you walk on water and they'll say that you can't swim. Okay, they will find a reason to have a problem with what you do. You could be out there doing walking and being amazing. And they'll be like, oh, she's only walking on water because she doesn't know how to swim. Listen, I know how to swim. I know how to build boats. I know how to buy boats. Okay, and I can walk on water. And the problem is you will always have people. If you don't have people who have a problem with what you're doing, you're not doing enough. You know, and you aren't taking a side. You aren't taking a stance. You aren't having an opinion. You aren't out there doing something that'll change the world. I don't want everyone to like me. I do not. I want the type of people to like me to be the people who are interested in building a legacy. I want the people who like me that are interested in building legitimate businesses. I want friends that pay their taxes. I want friends that don't end up with liens. I want friends who pay their employees in full and on time. And if the people who don't do that don't like me, then what I'm doing is the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Because I'm not interested in pleasing the masses if I please my God through my actions. And the way that I run my business and the way that I treat people is biblical. And so if people have a problem with it, then I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. So yes, I have been that girl. I've been the person that people say, well, she talks too white, or she's too she used to be down to earth and now she's fancy pants, which is not even true. Like I literally have pit stains right now. I wore a white shirt because I thought that they wouldn't show as much. It's not bad. Like I wore a white shirt because I was like, maybe they won't show. I get nervous. I'm a real person. You know what I mean? And I'm not perfect. And I am a hot mess. And I do worry about stuff. And, you know, I will show myself in a bonnet and stuff like that because it's real life. Like, stop pretending like we don't all wear scarves to bed. Like, it's just what it is. Like, why are we, I almost feel like the reality show world has set this unrealistic bar that people like go to sleep in makeup and that they go out to lunch all the time. And so what is that? You know what I mean? That's not real life. Like, it's not real life. And so I'm not interested in anyone who has a problem with it because their problem is with themselves, not with me, you know? And it's just what it is. It doesn't mean it doesn't feel bad though. When people talk trash about me, I definitely have my moment. I'd be like, but why? My eyebrows are so trustworthy. Why wouldn't they like me? I had my whole moment, you know.
I'm glad to hear that. Because a lot of people act like, because the thing with what I never get to have these kind of real conversations with people, because what happens is that when you try to say, well, you know what, that hurt me. You know, everybody's like, you're crazy. They're like, oh God, man up. You're just
People say like, well, you're a public figure. Don't you expect to get talked about? Don't put yourself out there and not expect to get talked. I'm like, believe it or not, I am a person just like you. And when you talk about something that like, I may already know, like I put out videos sometimes, I'm like, ooh, my blush was heavy. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? Like I have whole moments of insecurity, and to have someone point out that insecurity, like, I'm glad it made you feel better because it maybe humanized me, you know, made you feel like that was something, because I get that it can be hard to watch someone on TV and feel like, oh, their life is perfect, or they have money, or they have things I don't. And maybe by picking me apart, it makes me seem more human or more attainable or more like you. Whatever's required to make you sleep easy. I understand public figures are putting themselves out there like lambs to the slaughter, because the reality is I'm not being paid to act. I'm not being paid to be on stage. I'm not being paid to perform. What I'm getting paid, the salary I get paid for, is to give up my privacy. I'm getting paid to allow myself to be slaughtered if that's how that person feels on that given day. And I'm willing to pay that price because my calling is so much bigger than that. I'm more scared of ending my days and answering to God and realizing that I was afraid of a platform and I didn't reach out and do everything I could for the people I could help than I am of the person who wants to criticize me and say that I'm not good at something, or that my marriage looks this way, or my parenting is this way, or my business looks this way. At the end of the day, I know the truth. And if it pleases God, it's enough. So it's just, but it hurts. I definitely have my moments. Like, it really hurts my feelings. Like, it really, it does. It really, but you surround yourself with the type of people that hold up a mirror and remind you who you are. You know, like people judge you, Derek, all day. You know,
all day long. Yes,
all day long. They have something to say. There are people that will watch this and then go talk about us someplace else. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where I just look at it and I say, if you have a problem here and you don't have the wherewithal to just send that right to my DMs, you know what I mean? Then it's not about me. Do you know what I mean? Because if you also genuinely, because also like biblically, they talk about how we're responsible for our brother. If you feel like Derek has something to improve or Nicole has something to improve, and it is a genuine issue, then you should say something. You know what I mean? You should say something like, hey, you know, because I get messages sometimes from people where they're like, hey, you know, you did this with your kid. Like with my kids, I adopted my girls, right? So I've only been a mom for 5 years. So at one point I was doing a live broadcast where I was talking about like installing a car seat or whatever. And someone told me like the car seat thing wasn't in the right place. They saved her life. You know what I mean? Like genuinely were like, instead of sitting there saying you're a terrible mother, you're bad at this, you're awful, they were like, hey, you may not know this, but it's not in the right place. So you genuinely think like, I need to exfoliate more, or Derek needs a different moisturizer, or that color wasn't flattering, and you're coming from a place where you really want to see us improve, you would say that to our face with a tactic of kindness, you know, authenticity. But if you're just going someplace else to say something mean about us, or to someone else, or over lunch, or in the comments, or whatever else, well, then what is really your intention? You know what I mean? I tell people unsolicited advice all the time because I want them to grow. So
now, you are the prime example of, because a lot of people think that you're going to have a lot of followers to be interactive with people. And I see, like, I saw that you just made your 100K.
Yes! And I didn't show my titties. Not once, okay? Because nobody wants to see them. These things tuck into my waistband. Let's be honest, okay? These things tuck right into my pants. Nobody wants to see them.
But before you even hit your 1K, you have such an amazing following that listens to what you have to, like you have so many posts that people are like, thank you so much. Like you have and Kim Blackwell, she said that being a social influencer, she doesn't really care about, but she wants to know, what are you influencing? Like, what is the influence?
Why?
Like, like, what is that? Like, what are you, okay, you're a social influencer, but what is the influence? Like, what are you doing to influence? So how are you able to be so relatable to people and be able to, because you have nothing but good things. Like I saw you were, did you do something this morning? Because I saw you had a lot of reposts and stuff. Like everybody's like, my mentor, she's here, and these are people that have not even physically met you, but you're able to give them that.
Right. Well, I think that one of the biggest things that I try to do is I just try to tell the truth. Right. So if I feel awkward that day, I tell the truth about it. If I feel ugly that day, I tell the truth about it. If I'm having a hard day parenting, I tell the truth about it. And again, I mentioned I'm a Christian. So like for me, like in a Christian meeting, I'm imperfect, right? Like I'm not awesome at that. Some people think if you're a Christian, you can't drink. Like, I don't know. I always say I'm a Christian, but I'm recently baptized, meaning it hasn't soaked in all the way yet. I'm still figuring out my left from my right. I read the Message version, not the King James version. Like, I'm still figuring myself out. But I say all of that to say that what I answer to is bigger than that. And I interact with people in a way that I want to make sure that whenever people meet me, that they're left better for it. So if they're in my DMs, and I have time to respond, I try to respond to those. If they comment on something in my messages, I respond to that. Now, I still protect my family, like make no mistake. And same applies to you. Everything on my social media isn't everything, right? It isn't everything, because I'm a big believer, and this is something I think a lot of people can learn from. You share your scars, not your scabs, right? So while the situation is still healing, you don't need to go out there and walk people through the whole journey with you. That's not responsible. That's not fair. That's not an integrity, that sort of thing. But you better believe that once I have healed from something, I'll share the lessons from it. Isn't that why God gave us the story? To be able to share with people, if he has delivered you from something, isn't it the least you can do to help deliver someone else who's going through that same struggle? So for me, it's a really important thing to share that. And I think a lot of people identify with that they appreciate that I'm willing to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and say, yeah, I get pit stains. Yeah, I've been on stage and I farted and I thought to myself, did the mic pick that up? Like these are real things. Like if you think that I'm just up there not being awkward like that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like I feel all those feelings, So it's I think that might help with the relatability, but yeah, I don't know. I just tell the truth the best that I can. And if I feel like it's something I can't speak 100% honestly about in that moment, I keep it quiet to myself until I can share about it in integrity, and that's really it. I think that too often people are seeking out something to say, or they're speaking with nothing to say at all. And that's the problem on social. Like if they have nothing to say, they'll post up a picture of their body. You know what I mean? And that says a whole lot, or if they have something to say, but it isn't with intention, they'll just start posting either a promotion or they'll post and it's just like, what are you doing? Every single thing you do needs to have intention behind it. Whether it's for you, your legacy, your children, why are you doing it? And that's that mindset that I try to keep at the forefront. Does that make sense, kind of?
No, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. Now, have you also, does social media play a big part in your business?
It doesn't. So I wish I could say that it does. I mean, I've met a lot of my clients via social media, but I don't really worry about numbers, followers. I made my first million long before I even had 50,000 followers, and I didn't even have 1,800 people on my email list, when I made my first million. So social media is great because it does allow me to like spread the word and to communicate and stay in touch with people. But for me, it's more like a giant group chat, where I get to just hang out and check in with my friends versus a directed means for my business. And that's really important because I don't own social media. So anybody who makes social media their whole business is setting themselves up for failure. Some of my top clients are people who have 1 million followers on social media and are New York Times bestsellers, and they don't make a single dollar, because they were focused on followers and not like quality of content, So, I mean, I use social media to reach people. I use it to interact, but it isn't everything, and having 100,000 is a cool number. But it's not, it doesn't change my content. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, I'm interesting now. Like, what are followers if you're not really improving their life or profiting from them in a way that's in integrity? Otherwise, what's the point? You can have 100,000, you have 1 million. I know people with 1 million followers that don't make 5% of what I make. So it's how you're running your business and who you are.
So wait, now, how do I sign up for these things?
Listen, I got you. We will talk
offline.
How
do I sign up for all this? Because I think, like I said, I just really, I've had great conversations with people for the past 3 weeks I've been doing this. But this is a conversation of how to be better in your business, how to be better, how to make the money, because there's a lot of us that make a lot of money, but then we don't know what to do with the money. We don't know how to. We don't know.
Of course.
It's no real thing.
I don't want to teach anyone how to make a dollar if I'm not going to teach them how to keep it. You know, so a lot of people get very frustrated when they're working with me, because one of the first things, they'll come in with the mindset of, so how do I launch, or how do I make that product, or I want to have an event, or whatever else. And one of the first things I'll say is, do you have a profit and loss statement? Do you have an accountant? Do you have a bookkeeper? Are they not the same person? Do you have a business bank account as well as a personal bank account? Are you structured to pay yourself? Because the reality is, I don't want a single dollar to go in your bank account that is ill-gotten. I don't want a single dollar that goes into your bank account that you can't keep. The reality is, not all money is good money. Not all money is God money. There's money that comes in your bank account. And I'll just keep it all the way real with you. You know how, like, when you grow up without, or when you're newfound to working in your purpose, there's a fear that comes with, oh my gosh, what if this thing doesn't last? Yes. That, like, insecurity where it's like the rug's going to get pulled out in front of me. I think a lot of people feel that right now, where they're like, is this the thing that's going to sink my business? Will I ever get another client again? There's that fear. And when you build your business with structured steps, much like a Coca-Cola or a corporation, and it's running with that organization on the front end, it really does give you a peace, because you know that you've done what you're supposed to do. So like, even though the world is crazy right now and it's chaotic, I feel a calm, because I know that, look, like, I mean, even when people say like, oh, what if the IRS audits you? Because I make a large sum of money, which ups my chance of being audited. I'm like, that's fine. All an audit is asking what your paperwork looks like. I got paperwork. I'm not worried about it. It'll be unpleasant to pay a tax attorney, but I have the funds for that too. Like you should have that type of confidence that I'm able to go out and focus on my craft, because I know for a fact that the back end is covered. And so now's the season where you get to take care of those things, where you get to say to yourself, did I file my LLC? Did I set up my DBA so I can be paid in different ways? Is my bank account properly structured? Do I have things set up the way they need to be set up? Those things don't feel like they make you money immediately, but boy, do they help you keep every dollar and maximize your return on investment on each dollar. And I mean, everybody needs that help, whether you're a real housewife or you're a real person on Main Street. Everybody needs that. And we can't skip the steps, because if you do, no matter what, you're going to have to come back and do them. So that's what I do. So I got you on the back end, Derek. Don't worry, because I need you around, because his hair will not braid down itself.
Well, I listen. I like to speak very openly, transparently about money.
Sure.
I said, like, and for me, like you said, I got on TV and I was on there for 10 years, and I was on a fluke. I always thought it was a fluke. Nothing is on a fluke.
It was God ordained. Nothing was on a fluke. That was decided for you long before you had anything to do with it, sir.
Yeah, and I know that now. But I was like, well, I'm like, geez, I'm like, okay, well. And so then when it stopped, I didn't do all the proper things to put in place. And I was like,
you've known.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, oh shit, wait a minute. Yeah. I'm not making no more money. What's happening? Like, I gotta go back to the salon and work. Oh, okay. But now during like this time down, like I've been making money. I've been doing fine. But now this time down made me like, okay, I'm talking to a financial planner now, and I'm like, okay, how do I set this up? And where does this go? And what can you do? All these things. And I had a financial planner on here Monday, and we were talking about 2 different bank accounts.
Yes.
And he said it like, duh, you didn't have a business bank account. And I said, but people don't know that.
People don't know that. How would you even know that? Because to be honest, most of us are worried about paying our bills and eating. And what we need is more people being humble like you are. We need more people being willing to lean in and say, look, like, this is where I am and this is what happened. You know what I mean? And it's powerful that you would even let yourself do that, that you would share this. Like, just what you're doing right now is so powerful, because the reality is there's so many more like you. And there's less people who already know what they're doing. It's a huge difference. I truly think that just saying that alone is freeing to people, because you look at these people on TV and you think, oh, they have it all together. And the reality is they don't. And what we need to do is destigmatize not having it together. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's that not having it together is the norm, and learning is the norm, The excuses is where you can't find excuse and where you can't find fault is that once you learn better, you have to do better, And I just look at your past 10 years of success and I'm like, thank God you got an example, an opportunity, and a test run, because your best has yet to come. And now you'll be prepared for it. You know what I mean? So
and
that's what's really exciting.
I accept all of that.
Receive it.
I accept it. Now, for you guys that just stepping in or here, we have it pinned right at the bottom, her website and everything, so y'all can go to it. If you're not following her, follow her. Like I said, that's one. But no, I will say that I normally, I try not to follow a lot of people,
sure,
but I like to follow people I actually know. But
right.
then but when I was like, I have to follow this lady because but just your tips, your checking in on your daily check-ins, and just your lives that you do, it blesses so many people, and it puts me at ease, because I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy.
I'm not fucking up.
No.
Okay, I'm learning like everybody else. Like, okay, I get it now. All
yes.
right. I'm like, and that's where my mind was just all over the place. I thought that you're supposed to have it together. And it's like,
well, you were saying earlier, it's a great equalizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's out here faking the funk and pretending, and the reality is we're all going to have to humble ourselves. We're all going to have to humble ourselves and say to ourselves, just like even me, like I'm thinking I did all my steps. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't scared too. You know what I mean? Like, even in doing all my steps, I definitely was still scared. Like my dad was a taxi driver and my mom was a secretary at a boating insurance company. They did not know how to teach. I was doing our family taxes at, I think I was age 14. You know what I mean? Like, because I understood how to file better than they did, that's the reality of it. A lot of us come from backgrounds where wealth, as we're working to attain it, is going to be new. But guess what? Education and resources are available to us, and we are worthy to engage those resources. And feeling like, I think the biggest thing that the world can do to kind of trap us in poverty mindset is make us feel like we're not worthy to get out there and get that knowledge, to think that you're supposed to have it already. That's a trick. That's a fool. That's a tool of the enemy. You deserve 100% to get out there, humble yourself, and say, I need help. I need help, accountant. It's free to talk to a financial planner. No one tells you that. You can absolutely go into Charles Schwab tomorrow, make an appointment, and they will sit down and talk with you about how to manage money. You can ask, why do you think all these people are sitting in Bank of America? Talk to all the tellers. Hey, what are the accounts? What does that mean? How does that work? How do I set that up? How do I do this? So why would I do that? It's all free. It's all free. And you are not expected to know. But you are expected, when you do know, to do better. And if there's anything I can tell anyone, you don't have to pay me to do it. I would love to work with people, but at the end of the day, engage your free resources if that's what you have. Go to your Chamber of Commerce. Every single city has one. Chambly, Brookhaven, I'm just naming neighborhoods I know. Alpharetta has a great one. There's one here in Atlanta. The Chamber of Commerce offers free classes on trainings. There's no excuse. You don't have to pay just to get great help. It is nice to have a mentor and a guide to direct your path, and that's what I help people with, is their financial path. Just like corporations will hire me to come in and direct that. But at the end of the day, just starting from the basics, you can do that by just going in to your local bank and saying, hey, I'm a business owner and I want to manage my money well. What type of accounts do I need? And they will tell you, and you deserve to know.
Now, I would normally end this and say, what advice would you give to the people? But
that's that. There you go. There you go. No, other advice: exfoliate, drink water. Okay, guard your edges like you guard your life. Okay, like you really want to know, do your eyebrows. Not while you're in quarantine. You save those, but you do your eyebrows. No one will trust you if you have bad eyebrows. I don't let people with bad eyebrows watch my kids. I don't let them do my taxes. I don't let them breathe on me. Okay, if you really want to know life skills, there's that. So if there's nothing else you take from it, get this situation together, because one day you will be out there.
Nicole, as for right now, you're going to be my friend in real life. Right now, you're my best friend in my head right now. And you're going to be, I love everything about you. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's my joy. Thank you for having, and thank you for doing this, guys. Understand that you are a leader. Like everyone, guys, look at this. How many people do you know have been on TV and have no problem opening up to say, look, like I'm challenged in this situation, but I'm taking you on the journey with me to see how I am learning and how I'm going to come out and emerge better. This is what you want to watch. This is what needs to be on TV. This is what you need to hire. This is where you need to host. You don't want to have just anybody in your head. That's how your edges fall out. You've got to listen to people who make sense. There's science behind it.
True. That is true. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like I said, follow her, you guys, and make sure that y'all support everything she has going on.
So kind. I appreciate you guys. Keep listening to Derek. He's smart. He's got good stuff. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, that was amazing. You guys got a free masterclass on some things on how to get some shit done. You know, and that was great. Wow. So I will see you guys on Monday because I take Sunday to gather all the guests up for the week. So I will see you guys on Monday with Saisha Beecham, okay? Talk to you guys later.